The Capitol behind me, and the House is in session as we wait for the House to vote on a cost-cutting bill that includes over $1 billion in funding slashes to NPR and PBS at any moment. The Senate voted in favor of cutting the funding earlier today. Despite warnings for years from Republicans that NPR and PBS were simply catering to left-leaning politics, the government-funded news organizations have continued to double down on the reporting, even up until the Senate vote last night.
As far as the accusations that we're biased, I would stand up and say, please show me a story that concerns you, because we want to know and we want to bring that conversation back to our newsroom.
People often struggle to come up with examples of what really they're talking about. I can't make any sense of an argument that we are somehow biased in any way.
We'll see about that. Former NPR editor, whistleblower Yuri Berliner published in the Free Press today, Happy Independence Day, NPR, thanks in part to this ideological transformation. NPR botched major stories and damaged its bond with the American people. Uri joins us now. And I think the point here, right, is not whether NPR was biased or not one way or the other. Pretty clear that it is. We'll get to the examples later, and you lay them out. But that it did so while taking federal money.
Right, really. That's the point. You know, a news organization can choose its perspective, its point of view, and its values. But when you take federal money, when you expect federal money to be funded perpetually, there are different obligations, and I think that's where NPR fell short.
Two members of the Democratic Party and to sort of the leftist elite, and you write about them in your piece. NPR is something almost of a sacred cow. Here's Chuck Schumer, Amy Klobuchar.
Mm-hmm.
Last night's vote axing PBS, axing local TV will haunt Republicans as the damage sets in.
And if they can just start to go in there and take away these incredibly important funds, the sky's the limit. So that's my first point to our Republican colleagues. What are you doing?
Why is, to some people, PBS this all-important Fabergé egg that must be protected?
Well, I think for a long time, PBS and NPR really was a valued national trust that a lot of its programming appealed to a wide range of Americans. You know, when you talk about public radio, shows like Car Talk or Prairie Home Companion, and I think a lot of people
Ken Burns' The Civil War and everything else. Okay.
We're on board with that. But I think over time, especially in the last 10 years or so, so much became politicized, so much became sort of progressive talking points. And the sort of the more creative pieces that were, shows that were driven by curiosity and surprise were replaced by really more political, polemical kind of thing.
So I don't think, as you're sitting here, you feel as though America's losing that much.
Well, I mean, I think that the old NPR is a big loss, but I don't think it has been like that for quite a while now, and I think that's the problem. Yeah,
so this is, just to answer the dear leader's question of show us some headlines. Microfeminism, the next big thing in fighting the patriarchy. Which skin color emoji should you use? The answer can be more complex than you think. Black women's group find health and healing on hikes, but sometimes racism too. Bringing diversity to Maine's nearly all-white lobster fleet. Diet culture can hurt kids. This author advises parents to reclaim the word fat. I see you kind of smiling as I read these.
Right, right.
Why?
Well, because I think a lot of people would smile at that. I mean, these things are kind of, you know, ultra woke and kind of ridiculous. And NPR was doing a lot of it. I mean, they're funny on its face, but I think cumulatively it really damages.
It degrades the brand. I think about this, and I'm interested in when the change happened, because there's another big part of this is the cuts to USAID. I spent a long time overseas as a foreign correspondent. Some of the projects you saw USAID were so important in furthering the American brand. You think about AIDS in Africa testing and everything else. You think about famine programs. These are the things that created the image of America shining sitting on the hill. These are the things that China is now doing. But then USAID morphed from that into funding DEI musicals in Ireland and Serbia. And so then now, in order to sort of get rid of all of it, the worst parts of it, you get rid of all of it. How do these, and you saw it from the inside, how does this, what is it, mission creep happen?
Well, I think in the case of NPR, it happened from the top down and the bottom up. There was a consensus, or sort of a meeting of the minds that there was a kind of urgency in the wake of Trump's first election, after the racial reckoning with some of the transgender issues. I think it was a meeting from the bottom up that we had to sort of be advocates on these issues, that they were worth fighting for as a matter of justice. And I think there was not necessarily disagreement from the top, but sometimes even total agreement.
Yeah, well, and sometimes, I mean, there was one quote from the head of the NPR saying that the First Amendment was the problem in all of this.
Yeah.
Uri, you're a brave man to speak out.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good talking to you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.